Assalamu alaikum, our readers, our learners, our listeners, and our dreamers. Here again, we are ready with our 11th book review session by SharedPen Official and Cafe X together. We have been very fortunate that we have been consistent and we show up, and you've shown a lot of admiration through your likes and comments and views. Today, we would be reviewing two books in this session. Uh, One by Miss Odessa Rena. The book needs no introduction. It is a book by a great author and narrator, an Afghan author and narrator, Khalid Hosseini. And the book is A Thousand Splendid Suns. This book is actually a fantastic book about life, about struggles, about a place of political disorder, and yet again, how emotions, lives, judgments, and love, evil, hatred, jealousy runs through people even when they are in crisis and turmoil in the country. The second book would be reviewed by myself. That's a book, a collection of short stories by Vintage Cover. It is called What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. And it has small love stories, everyday love stories, which we will discuss in detail. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Odessa Rena for her book review of A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, this is me Uday Sarana, and today I'll be talking about my favorite book. It is A Thousand Splendid Suns by my very favorite author Khalid Hosseini. इस किताब में बहुत सारे पहलू हैं, लेकिन जो मुझे सबसे एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पहलू लगा है दैट इज़ मैं बचपन से सुनती आ रही हूँ कहावतें हैं कि औरत औरत की दुश्मन होती है, बट दिस इज फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम आई हैव विटनेस्ड कि एक औरत दूसरी औरत के लिए स्टैंड लेती है, उसको हेल्प करती है. एंड इट इज़ अ वेरी फैसिनेटिंग स्टोरी ऑफ मरियम एंड लैला, दो ऐसी औरतें जिनकी शादी एक ही आदमी से हुई है, लेकिन इनके बीच में एक मदर डॉटर बॉन्ड था. पहले नहीं था, बाद में बन गया. इट स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम मरियम, कि मरियम कैसे एक शी वॉज नॉट अ लेजिटिमेट चाइल्ड, वो एक इलेजिटिमेट चाइल्ड थी ऑफ जलील एंड नाना. एंड जो नाना थे वो जलील की एक हाउस कीपर थी. एंड वो हमेशा एक कॉन्फ्लिक्टिंग चीज़ें देखती थी उसके दो पेरेंट्स में. नाना उसको बोलती थी कि तुम एक इलेजिटिमेट चाइल्ड हो और तुम्हें शायद ये दुनिया एक दूसरे नज़रिए से देखेगी, तुम वो सब इन्जॉय नहीं कर पाओगी जो हम करते हैं, जो बाकी बच्चे करते हैं. जबकि जलील उनको बोलते थे कि नहीं, दिस मच मोर देन दिस, दिस अ लाइफ. एंड नाना हमेशा रिस्ट्रिक्ट करती थी उनको अपने बाप के घर जाने से. वन डे ऑन हर 15th बर्थडे वो अपने पापा के घर गई, और जब वो वहाँ से आती है वो क्या विटनेस करती है कि नाना ने खुदकुशी कर ली, उसकी माँ ने उसकी अपनी खुदकुशी कर ली. वट हैपन्स देन, शी goes to her father's house and she starts living there. लेकिन वो क्या देखती है, शी विटनेसेस कि उसकी तरफ एक अलग बिहेवियर होता है, उसके जो लेजिटिमेट चिल्ड्रन थे उनका एक बहुत ही अलग बिहेवियर होता है, उसकी वाइफ का एक अलग बिहेवियर होता है. और इसी के दौरान वो ये एक साजिश करते हैं कि वो उसकी शादी कर लेंगे, और वो उसकी शादी एक रशीद नामी इंसान के साथ कर लेते हैं. दे हैड अ वेरी बिग एज गैप, 30 years एज गैप उनके बीच में था. बट टू द कॉन्ट्ररी, जब हम ये सोचते हैं कि ओ माई गॉड अब क्या करेगी, एक बुढ़े से शादी होगी, शी स्टार्टेड एन्जॉइंग बीइंग द लेजिटिमेट वाइफ. फाइनली शी स्टार्टेड गेटिंग दैट रिकग्निशन. जो उसको बेकदरी होती थी वो उससे वो बच गई. बट वट हैपेंड आफ्टर दैट, उसके 7 मिसकैरेजेस हो गए, जिसकी वजह से जो रशीद था वो काफ़ी अब्यूजिव हो गया उसके तरफ. एंड उसका उनका जो रिलेशनशिप है वो बहुत ही, वो काफ़ी अप्स एंड डाउन्स में चला गया. अब आती है बारी लैला की. लैला वाज बोर्न टू अ फैमिली जो कि रशीद और मरियम के बिल्कुल ऑपोजिट रहते थे, उनकी नेबर्स थे. एंड शी वाज एन इंटेलेक्ट. उसके जो फादर थे वो एक एक्स टीचर थे, और वो उसको हमेशा सिखाते थे इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ एजुकेशन और कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है एजुकेशन हासिल करना. उसकी जर्नी के दौरान, उसकी जो है चाइल्डहुड के दौरान, टीनेज के दौरान, वो एक लड़के से बहुत क्लोज थी जिसका नाम था तारिक. ऑल्दो जो उसकी लैला की मदर थी वो उससे ज़्यादा बात नहीं करती, ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं देती थी, लेकिन वो तारिक से एक बहुत ही उसका एक फॉन्डनेस आ गया था. So during the war that started in Afghanistan, Tariq had to move. एक तो because of the war and दूसरा because of his parents' ailings. So what happened? They got into a physical relationship. They got intimate, and after that, जब लैला भी डिसाइड करती है कि वो भी निकलेगी अफगानिस्तान से, वो काबुल से निकलेगी क्योंकि द सिचुएशन वाज नॉट वेरी गुड, द स्ट्रीट्स वर नॉट वेरी सेफ फॉर हर. वो क्या फिटनेस करती है दैट शी इज एक्सपेक्टिंग अ बेबी, एंड उसी टाइम पे her parents died. Now she wanted a stable family, she wanted a name to her child. तो उसने भी रशीद से शादी कर ली. रशीद ने उसको प्रपोजल भेज दिया क्योंकि रशीद का भी बच्चा नहीं हो रहा था, एंड लैला ने फ़ौरन एक्सेप्ट कर लिया ये सोच के कि मैं ऐसा प्रिटेंड करूंगी कि ये बच्चा रशीद का ही है. आफ्टर दैट शी गेव बर्थ टू अ बेबी गर्ल जिसने उसका नाम अजीज़ा रखा. नाउ बिकॉज ही वांटेड अ बेबी बॉय, तो अगेन वही सब होने लगा. लेकिन टू द कॉन्ट्ररी, जब मरियम पहले लैला को हस्बैंड स्टीलर समझती थी, अब अजीज़ा की वजह से उनकी फॉन्डनेस बढ़ गई और वो दोनों दे स्टार्टेड लाइकिंग अजीज़ा एंड दे स्टार्टेड हेटिंग देयर हस्बैंड. Now, what happened was she got pregnant again. She had a beautiful baby boy. अब क्या था, जो रशीद था, ही couldn't afford two babies, तो उसने अपनी बेटी को ऑर्फनेज में ढकेल दिया. अब बारी होती है तारिक की री एंट्री की. वो लैला की ज़िंदगी में वापस आ गया. एक बार वो उसको विजिट करने के लिए आ गया, जबकि जो लैला का बच्चा था, जो उसका बेटा था, उसने अपने फादर को जो है इन्फॉर्म किया. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, जो रशीद है वो लैला की तरफ काफ़ी अब्यूजिव हो गया और ऑलमोस्ट ही वाज अबाउट टू किल हर. तो मरियम ने रशीद का कत्ल कर लिया. अब क्योंकि तालिबान का जो एक एनवायरनमेंट है दैट वाज नॉट वेरी स्टेबल, उनको पता था उनको दो बीवियों के जो दो बीवियां हैं उनका हस्बैंड नहीं है, तो द गवर्नमेंट इज गोइंग टू बी अगेंस्ट देम. तो चुपचाप जो है मरियम ने ये कत्ल अपने सर ले लिया और लैला जो है वो तारिक के साथ पाकिस्तान चली गई. पाकिस्तान जाने के बाद कुछ टाइम वो वहाँ पे रही, एंड आफ्टर दैट शी केम बैक टू काबुल टू लिव अ पीसफुल लाइफ. दिस इज़ हाउ थिंग्स ओपन अप. ऐसी चीज़ें होती है जो हमने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं की होती है, एंड वी हैव टू बी रेडी फॉर दैट, वी हैव टू बी रेडी फॉर ऑल द चैलेंजेस. एंड यहाँ पे हमें एक चीज़ मुझे पर्सनली सीखने को मिलती है कि हाउ मरियम, उसको लेट ही समझ में आ गया बट एटलीस्ट शी टुक अ स्टैंड फॉर हर, जो उसको बेटी समझती थी उसके लिए. दिस वाज माय ओपिनियन ऑन द स्टोरी. थैंक यू सो मच.
Thank you, Dessa, for a beautiful book review and a very good summary in a crux, and a great, great learning and lesson from the book, that how a woman can support a woman, how she can go through an ordeal and lose her life so that someone doesn't have to go through that, because she knew that she doesn't have any hope. She would not, might not have a better life, but at least Lela should have. This reminds me of the African tribes. I've read about African tribes when they were under colonial rule of Britishers and all. And all these colored, dark skinned men used to work in their fields and factories and homes. And Englishmen were abusive to them and brutal to them. And as you say, that hurt people. These Africans used to come home and behave like Englishmen with their wives and be abusive to them and torture them. And that was a era when all these African tribes and men had multiple wives and even mistresses. And since everything was so tough and hostile, the British rule to the non less comforting working conditions and poverty and other things, these women found comfort in each other. There are many stories. One of them is The Color Purple. Of course, we will be reading that book later. What used to happen in that era, that these men used to get abusive. They used to have multiple wives or a wife and a girlfriend living in the same house. And then it was fantastic how these women had children, and these children were a bond between them, and they became friends with each other, supported, loved, and stood up for each other. And the man was left alone. So he neither had a first wife nor a second wife to his side or her girlfriend. And these two together were like a pillar towards each other and continued living a life amidst turmoil. That was a family. I think this book also speaks about the same. And we get a message from it that when any of us, especially women, go through something, we should, and someone helps us, and someone helps us through, fixes our crowns, our emotional, mental crowns, we should promise ourselves that what we go through, we will not let anyone go through that again. And if given a chance, we would help them to come out of it or give them a better option. Because a good legacy should continue, and wrong patterns have to be stopped. You have to stop that burning matchstick to burn the entire neighborhood. So yeah, that was about it. Next, I come to my book. Again, I would reiterate that it's a very well narrated book, but yes, like life, it is not always interesting. And this book is very, very practical, very mundane, very routine, and at times boring. What fascinated me and why I was so keen to review this book, because it was like everyday life. These collection of short stories in this, very, very, why don't you dance, viewfinder, one more thing, after the denim, the bath, the sacks. These are all everyday stories which we all live in. We go to a college, we go for a holiday, we meet someone, there are some feelings, something happens which is not so big. We talk about big stories and novels with sudden twists and turns, and it is so dramatic and romantic, and it has a start and it has an end. These stories have nothing like that. These stories just start, something basic happens, something main happens in terms of emotions, and then they abruptly end, and life goes on, it moves on. One of these stories, what we talk when we talk about love, there is this couple, there are two couples who are enjoying an evening at their place. So then, in European culture, drinks and all are very common. So then they talk to each other, and as they say, as someone great has said, only three people speak the truth: the angry, the drunk, and children. So this man is drunk, and he just speaks. He starts speaking about life and love. He says, "Okay, so this is the woman I love, and we have a great life. But what? Do you think this is forever? No, tomorrow if I die or you die or I do something wrong, she'll move on. She'll have a better life and I'll also have a better life." So love is not forever in terms of actions or in life. Life moves on, and she'll be happy somewhere. And then suddenly the wife would say, "No, no, don't talk about this, don't talk about that." The other one would say that, "No, no, this is not how it is to be, you should not speak like that." He said, "No, no, this is life, this is true." And then during that time, what happens? The couple exchange their partners. It's a culture in Europe. And then this person, the other person's wife, she's not very happy with the husband. She finds friendship and comfort in this other person. Okay. And then they have a very good emotional connection. They share a good emotional space while they are dancing with body language and eye contact. And this is what happens every day. As much as we would not like to talk about it, as much as it is tabooed, these are incidents of life. And these happen, and then the party ends, and then they go to their routine lives. So, this is what it is. What we talk about when we talk about love. Love happens, it comes, it goes, it comes again. The only thing which stays are memories, experiences, and some stories to narrate. Thank you, and we will come back to you with more books, more reviews, and more stories to share. And I again want to thank you for your association and being there with us.